Hi, this is Rabbi Chaim Kaufman. Welcome to our 250th installment in the Torah portion of the week. We are holding by Parshas Ki Tisa, or Ki Tisa, depending how you want to pronounce it, if you're Ashkenazic or Sephardic. Right, speak about the census, the laver, anointment oil, the incense, the holiness of Shabbos, Moshe receiving the tablets, sin of the golden calf. A lot to speak about. The Torah tells me in chapter 33, verse 13, Torah says, "And now, if I have indeed found favor in your eyes, make your way known to me, so that I know you, that I might find favor in your eyes, see that this nation is your people." So Moshe Rabbeinu pleading to God to find favor in his eyes for what the Jewish people have done. So the Gemara in Brachos, or Brachot chapter, first chapter, 7a, it says, what did Moshe Rabbeinu claim in front of God? Moshe Rabbeinu says, I don't understand. They're righteous people, it's good for them. They're righteous people, that's bad for them. There's evil people, it's good for them. It's good for him, and they're evil people, it's bad for him. So Moshe says, I don't understand. Righteous person is good for him. What's it talking about? A righteous person, the son of a righteous person. Right? A righteous person is bad for him. It means that the righteous person is the son of someone who's evil. Right? That's what the Talmud says. Comes along, Moiv Rebbe, Rav Agon or Moshe Shlita should be well. And it brings down in Tam Vadas, in Chochma Vadas, his commentary on Chumash, and he says, I don't understand. How can it be that a righteous person, the son of a righteous person, is good? Isn't any righteous person, right? If the righteous person, the son of a Rasha, someone who's evil, would be evil. He says, I don't get it. Why are we talking about evil people here? Right? What's the idea of talking about evil people? Because the question is, how does God run the world? How does God run the world over here? Just like the question of Moshe. You see, a tzaddik who has it hard. Rasha, an evil person, has it easy. Right? So he says, I want to understand your ways. What's going on? So says Moiv Rebbe, there's a hint over here again. Not simple explanation. Right, but there's a hint. What's the hint? Gilgul Neshamas. What's Gilgul Neshamas mean? Reincarnation. That according to the Kabbalists who understand this, that a person come back a second time, maybe a third time or a fourth time, their soul can come back. But it's not mentioned. Not in the Talmud. Not in the rabbinic authorities, the early ones, the later ones. They don't explain it. Right? They're pretty quiet on the subject. It's only brought down by the Mekubalim, by the Kabbalists. That each soul that comes to this world comes with a purpose. According to the holiness of the soul. Everyone's got a purpose. So we're messengers. The question is what message we're supposed to give over. And what we're supposed to do. And how we're supposed to reach potential. And each person, since we know the face of one person, not the same as another, everyone's totally different. So too, every soul is going to be different. No soul is similar to its friends. And everyone's created to serve God according to their ability. And also depending what their situation is in this world. Now, even before we go further, we see that the soul has a purpose. Soul doesn't remember. Right? The person in this world not going to remember what his purpose is. We could say, someone once explained to me, could say that maybe the hardest thing for a person to do in this world, they'd rather slice their wrists or their eyeballs with glass rather than do it. Could be that's what they're here for, to fix. Not going to be something easy. Not going to be a quick fix here. So not only that, but we see that a lot of people don't serve God. Because the whole point is, as Ramchal says in Path of the Just, the whole goal is to enjoy God's goodness in this world, but you have to know how. You have to know how to tap in. And a lot of people are not interested in tapping in. So, a lot of these people, unfortunately, are going to get lost. That's not really the topic here. I just want to point out that everyone is here for something, for some purpose. The soul may have had to come back to become fixed in a certain way, right? To make up for different things that it may not have done, or maybe to offset what it had done, previously. We don't know. But everyone's got a purpose. Not one person who's in this world doesn't have a purpose. We may not utilize, we may not utilize it properly. We may not reach that potential. But nobody's here for no reason. Just like no two faces are the same. The souls of people are not the same also. Some are going to have a higher level soul, some a lower level soul. Right, but everyone's got a message. Everyone's got a purpose. And this is what God answers. Rabbi says, if it's a tzaddik ben tzaddik, if it's a righteous person, son of a righteous person, then he was reincarnated as a righteous person that already fixed up what he was supposed to fix. And it's good for him. In other words, for whatever reason he came back, he's fixing up what's good for him. So that's a righteous person, the son of a righteous person. Vimut tzaddik ben Rasha. If he's a righteous person, the son of a Rasha. So then he's going to come back, even though he's righteous. He's going to come back as an evil person. That he has to fix himself up. Whatever he did, he's got to fix himself up. It's interesting. He's called someone who's righteous. Right? In this case, he's called evil because he's got what to fix up. So it's bad for him. And also, an evil person who's the son of a righteous person, it's good for him. It's good for him. Why? Because there's good actions before. Because the soul did good things before, even though he's evil now. And an evil person, son of an evil person, bad for him. Now, what's the problem? What's the problem over here? It's impossible for us to understand. Whether he's the son of a righteous person, son of an evil person, how are we going to know? Impossible to know. But according to what we're talking about, that's not the case. Why? Because who are we to ask questions how God runs the world? Right? For some it's good, some it's bad. We don't know. There are a lot of things that we see, probably everything that we see that we don't understand. That doesn't make any sense. Many, many things. Problem is, we think we should understand it. We think it should be clear to us. We with our puny little brains. People say, why can't I get it? Why can't I understand the measure for measure? You're never going to understand it. Maybe. Maybe God will throw you a proverbial bone. But we're not going to understand. How are we supposed to understand? So, it's simple, at face value. Simple explanation is, how are we supposed to know over here? How does he know it's not a righteous person, not a righteous person? We don't know. It's not ours to question. Doesn't mean we don't have difficulties. But it's not for us to question. We have to live. We have to serve God to the best of our ability. And it says my Rebbe here, you should surely know that we say, Ein Mazel Yisrael. In other words, just because the way the stars are set up can have an effect on us, but we, the Jewish people, have an ability to break it. that it shouldn't have an effect on us. On the same time, when it comes to our lives, livelihoods, and different things, it's not dependent on us. Not dependent on what I do. What's it dependent on? On our mazel. Now, what does that mean exactly? That means I have no free choice. Whatever I do doesn't matter. So Tosfos at the end of the Gemara in Shabbos, on page Kuf Nun Vav, page 156, Tractate Shabbos, anyone wants to look it up, that even if a Jew's born under a certain mazel, a certain constellation, and it's bad for him, how can we fix that? How is it possible to overcome it? Heck of a lot of work. We have to work really hard through prayer, charity, other things to overcome it. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Right? But you need a lot of merits over here. So you need prayer. You need constant prayer. You need to entreat God, give charity, do a lot of good things to overcome this. Is that going to be an easy thing to do? No. So even if a person is stuck, so to speak, they're born under a certain constellation, you might say, we're doomed. What can I do? I'm not in control. These other things control, no matter what I do. And the answer is I can overcome it. A lot of prayer, a lot of supplication, charity, many, many things I can overcome. Not going to be easy. Then Marabi says, if you look at the Holocaust, the unbelievable Holocaust, that many, tens of thousands, millions of the Jewish people were burnt, slaughtered, choked to death. Horrific. That's what happens. That there was a righteous person who gave many supplications before God. And what did he say in his prayers? Pretty unbelievable. Suffering like we can't imagine. He said, God is righteous in all his ways. And we don't have the right thing against it, to question it. So this righteous person said, I only want one thing. I only desire one thing. Show me your ways. Help me understand, God, your ways. Why did this happen? Why did this destruction happen? And if you don't want to, if God, you desire not to, your thoughts are as high as the heavens and the earth. It's okay, it's your choice. You don't have to tell us why. But at the very least, have compassion upon us. And that everything should be good. Even if we can't understand your ways, we can't fathom why you do things the way you do, at least have compassion upon us. And that's what the Chofetz Chaim explains. As the verse tells us, from above, there's no bad and good. Because everything that comes out of his mouth is good. Right? Everything that comes from God is good. But what happens? Sometimes it looks bad. So we pray that God should have compassion on us. He should only deal with us with good things. And that's our understanding of it all should be good. So this is an important point. So what are we explaining over here? We don't understand God. It's impossible to understand God. And it'd be good for a righteous person, bad for a righteous person. But you see, what's the mantra over here? The mantra is nothing bad comes from God. It's not bad or good. Why? So let's say better. That what comes from God is only good. But what about things that look bad? Sometimes things look bad. And things are hard. And things are tough. But you know what? It's for the ultimate good. So now you're going to say, what's the ultimate good? Right? Why is it good? Because God knows what he's doing. Yeah, he had to destroy 6 million people. We don't know why. We can conjecture, but we don't know. And the reality is it doesn't matter. One thing we do understand. 100% is divine justice. That we understand. But just like this holy person asked, God, I want to understand your ways. I want you to come and tell me somehow why all this happened. But if you don't, show me your ways, have compassion. At least have compassion on your creation. We, with our puny minds, we think we should understand. We think things should be given to us on a platter. The reality is, God thinks differently. God works differently. It's not for us to understand. You'll say, oh, you believe in a leap of faith? No. It's not a leap of faith. It's belief in God with understanding. With knowledge. And knowledge is power. But the problem is, there are things that we may go through we don't fathom. And in 10 lifetimes, we're not going to fathom. But that's okay. That's not a leap of faith. That's not a leap of faith. Because who says we're supposed to understand? Who says it's supposed to be made so clear? Nobody. Right on the fast day, the Torah we read, what do we say? Your thoughts are not our thoughts. Your actions are not our actions. But some people think I should be able to understand. Why? I think it's the ultimate in chutzpah. Who are we? Yeah, we may be the pinnacle of creation. But we don't control anything. We don't even control a bowel movement. We're not in control. Once we realize we're not in control, it's a whole different thing. Oh, I should understand the infinite. I should understand how God runs the world. We're never going to understand. We're never going to make heads or tails of anything. It's not a cop-out. That's not just a leap of faith. There's a lot of knowledge behind it. But sometimes we're going to have to say we don't know. And we can't understand. There's no possible way to understand. And some people disagree. Some people think it's my right to understand. Because they think they're God themselves. They think they should have the rights. We have to remember one thing. So Chofetz Chaim here said, from above, you don't have good and evil. You only have good. It's just the way it appears. It looks evil. We're not going to understand that. But it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, I'm still going to serve him no matter what. I want to remind everyone, I have class in Duties of the Heart every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Pack schedule on Sunday. Book of Leviticus chapter 16. Already, verse 1 part, it's going to be part 8. Coming up, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 o'clock Israel time. Tanakh Talk, controversial issues, 12:30 on Sunday, Eastern Time, 7:30 Israel Time. Noahide Nations, going through the Noahide laws. Sunday, 2:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 Israel Time. I have 2 Q&As, Tuesday and Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Israel Time. Perkei Avos, every Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 o'clock Israel Time. I have my conversion classes. Anyone interested in any of this, find me on Facebook at Michael Chaim Kaufman or Beyond Orthodox Conversion Judaism. You can send me an email, rabbichaimkaufman@gmail.com, RABBICHAIMCOFFMAN @gmail.com.